Hey everyone, welcome. What we're going to be discussing today is an overview of the Linux file system environment. Okay, so for those who are unfamiliar with the Linux file system environment, it is quite different to, for example, a Windows file system. Okay, it is easier to comprehend in terms of the logical structure of it. Okay, so I'll give you some examples as we go through the Linux file system. Okay, so first of all, I'll just bring up an image. Okay, so this is a handy image that will assist you in your understanding of the Linux file system. Okay, so for example, we're starting at root. Okay, so let's just put this in a background process. So Control Z to put that into the background. Okay, to run that process in the background. Okay, so keep that image there. Okay, so for example, we are currently at home desktop. Okay, so home is designated by the tilde. Okay, so if we go back to tilde, okay, where okay, we are in our home directory. Okay, okay, home/Kali. Kali is my username. Okay, for this is just a standard Kali distribution, okay, of Linux, and it is quite recent, I believe. I don't believe there's too much in here. However, so let's have a look at what I was going over before in this image here, which is quite handy. Okay, so if you're going to be looking through this systematically, you can imagine that you can navigate to these directories by preempting the directory with a /. Okay, for example, so cd change directory. It's very simple to change between directories. So right now we are in home. Okay, and the user directories are under home. Okay, so the user directory, my user directory is Kali. Okay, as you can see here, Kali. Okay, so Kali is somewhere in here. Okay, but if I want to go back to root, all I do is, okay, now I'm back to root directory. Okay, so now I can access all of these children of the root directory. Okay, so if I want to go into /etc, so cd etc, okay, ls for list. Okay, we have some interesting directories in etc, interesting files. So if we, for example, list, okay, and then pipe grep. Okay, so grep is searches for strings. Okay, so the output of the list is now the input of the grep command, which searches for strings within the output of ls. Okay, so grep, and we'll look for shadow. Okay, so we've got shadow there. Okay, so if we so sudo cat shadow. Okay, okay, this is all the users which are found in ECT shadow. Okay, now I'll go into the detail of what all these numbers and things mean in a different lecture. However, for the time being, you can assume that the users are on the left. Okay, and there are certain things, for example, it indicates if they have passwords, etc., and other things on the right hand side. Okay, so you can see that my user Kali, okay, is within this set of usernames. Okay, so let's just scroll down to the bottom here. Okay, how about we just do this instead? Okay, we can see Carly is there. Okay, and that is the password hash for my password. Okay, so from etc, okay, there are obviously a lot more interesting things with etc. Okay, we also have home. Okay, that's my home directory, so we can simply navigate home. Okay, or we can simply use the tilde function, tilde. Okay, and then ls. Okay, this is my home directory. Okay, there's some random things in here. I don't use this virtual machine much. Okay, but there's some random things in there. Mount, okay, that's a general purpose mount point, okay, because remember that everything in the Linux file system is a file. Okay, everything is deemed to be a file. Okay, so we've got /proc, okay, which is a view of internal kernel data. The kernel's view of the hardware is in /sys. Okay, special device files live in /dev. /bin is executables. So for example, if I was to where is ls? So ls is a built-in command. Okay, it stands for list, obviously. Okay, and that lives in /user/bin /ls. Okay, so that's the path for the built-in command ls, which is list. Okay, because it is a binary. Okay, so they're all executables, binary files. Okay, sbin. Okay, system binaries. Okay, we've got libraries. Okay, not going to bore you with going into libraries at the moment. Okay, and then we've got /usr, and then we've got libraries, sbin, and bin. Okay, so look, that is a general overview of the Linux file system. Okay, if you I encourage you to take some time to go through the different directories and see what you can find. Get used to the definitions for each of the different directories. Okay, so for example, if you're interested in things like offensive security, you will need to get familiar with etc shadow. Okay, etc/shadow. Okay, in relation to privilege escalation, in terms of, for example, if you find a folder that has certain privileges attached to it that you are unable to access on your current privilege level, you may need to try to change users. Okay, there may be a folder, there may be a daemon that is running under a certain user, and there are ways to move laterally through the system to gain further privileges and further users in an effort to obtain your goal if you're thinking about offensive security. Otherwise, for system administrators and things like that, it's just a matter of practice. Just go through the file system, look for certain things you need to do, have a look at changing privileges on files, changing privileges on folders, changing privileges on users, okay, changing passwords on users, creating users, all those sorts of things. Okay, but the general idea is that once you have a good understanding of the file system, all of that other stuff becomes secondary, because your navigation through the file system is fundamental in your understanding of the Linux environment, regardless of what distribution you're using, because of the way that Linux is set out with the file system hierarchy standard. Okay, so everything is generally the same across most distributions like Mint Linux. So whatever distro you're interested in, it doesn't have to be Kali Linux for security. It could be anything. It is set out in a way of this file system hierarchy standard, and generally everything is the same. Okay, so get familiar with this if you're interested in proceeding into security or system admin. Okay, particularly security, and I will cover more videos in relation to how we start looking further into some of these directories and their vulnerabilities and things that you can use to facilitate either an offensive action or possibly things that can create flaws, much like code that is has vulnerabilities. There can be settings within the folders, settings within user privileges, settings within file privileges, etc., that can create vulnerabilities, security vulnerabilities. So these all need to be corrected to enhance your security posture. Okay, if you're looking at security hardening. Okay, so these are all just topics to think about, but at the moment this video is simply on the file system, and I encourage you to go through and just practice going through these different directories. Okay, have a look through, and remember that with /mount, okay, because everything is a file, you have to mount a peripheral drive, okay, before you're able to access it. It's not just like Windows or Mac OS where you can just plug things in. Okay, you have to mount them because everything is deemed to be a file. Okay, but I'll get into that into later videos. Now, if you do have any videos that you're particularly interested in, please put them in the comments below, and please remember to like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's very basic on the Linux file system, but if you have any ideas where you'd like to explore further, please put them in the comments, and I'm happy to make a video about that. Okay, thanks very much. Bye-bye.